Yeah, and we're back with another Jazz Matters podcast. Today we have here Mr. Jeffery Suttles as our guest, and Suttles, rather, as our guest. And of course, we have Vaughn Coulter, who's our man with the plan from Jazz Beats Radio over there. And we also, we want you to, before we get too deep into it, we want you to go ahead and check out yesjazzmatters.org, and that's where you will find the website for Jazz Matters, which I'm the founder, and we have a lot of things. It's a nonprofit organization, and we do take donations. So when you look in there, look on the page and go to the donate page. Also, go to the Jazz Matters store. We have apparel such as like shirts like this, like Jazz Matters, you know.
All right.
And so you get your sweatshirt, hoodies, T-shirts, you know, you can even get a coffee mug. And you know something else? We got hot sauce over there too. Now, for all you hot sauce lovers, just go on the page. And
All right. All right.
Yeah, we got all that stuff. I'm trying to get into some other things, but we'll go through that later. But right now, what we want to do is go ahead and get Jeff up here. And Jeff, you're a busy guy, and but I'm glad you can you know, come out here and just share us a little bit about yourself. So you might as well go ahead and get started, Jeff. Let people know who you are, where you're from, and how you got started in the business.
Well, because my name is already the Jeffery Suttles. I'm from Los Angeles, California, born and raised in LA, South. They don't call it South Central anymore. They call it South LA. I think they're trying to clean it up a little bit. Soften the blow. So I'm from
All right.
South LA, South Central.
Okay.
I still call it South Central.
Oh, it has evolved then.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Hey, my Citizens app that I have doesn't reflect that it has evolved, because it's like still popping off every like 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Born and raised here in LA. Primarily, I grew up as an athlete. I was playing football, running track, and playing baseball and stuff like that. So I was in the athletic world. My older brother, Carl Suttles, was a saxophone player who did a lot of music growing up. You know, got the lessons from the time he was 5. He's a saxophone player. From the time he was 5 all the way up to when he was in his 20s. He's 5 years older than me, so I was listening to music the whole time and was loving it. And I didn't know that I just loved it just to listen to, and was soaking it in. Didn't really realize I was soaking it in, because I didn't start really. I told my mom at about 5 years old that I said, "Mom, I can play that." She didn't believe me, of course. So got into to music really pretty late in life, actually. In my early 20s, when I kind of got into it, where I was playing with people. I was just, would come home from football practice, track practice, or whatever it was I was doing. Then I'd go into the back. I had a little back house back there where I record now. But I go into the back house and practice the drums for a couple of hours a night, and then I come in I do my homework first. Then I go practice, and then I did that almost every day. From the time I was able. When I got my first kit, I was about maybe 12 or something like that. And the athletics kind of took over. All of my buddies came over and wanted to play the set. And I told them no, because I knew it wasn't a toy. But they told me, well, we can't play the set. Well, you can't come play ball with us. I'm like, okay, well, all right, you guys can play it. And they proceeded to destroy it.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to say.
So my mother told me, said, next drum set you buying it yourself. So when I got to be about 18, 19 years old, I started saving up money, because the passion for wanting to play started to hit me a little more. And I started saving up my money, and I bought a set and started playing a little bit more. And but I was still playing. I was in college playing ball, running track, and had a little stint in football with semi-pro ball for a couple of years here in LA. And then my mentor came up to me while I was playing football and told me that he heard that I played drums from a high school teacher who didn't even know that I could play because I never walked into the band room. He was a new teacher. When I was a senior in high school, he became the band director. The band directors that was there, I'm not mentioning any names, but the band didn't sound that great to me because I was listening to music my whole life. So the band didn't sound that good, I didn't walk over there. So when I was a senior, I was walking to football practice and they was in there playing some, I think, Earth, Wind and Fire, some Ohio players and some stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, that's different from what's been going on from the polka that I've been hearing.
Yeah.
So I just stuck my head in the door and the teacher looked at me and said, hey, you play something? I said, yeah, I play. He said, what do you play? I said, I play drums. He said, do you know this song? I said, yeah, I know this song. He said, come on in and sit down and play it then. So I walked in there and sat down and played. He said, I need you to come to my office tomorrow. And he took me to the office in the school and said, I need you to put him in my class. So, but I was getting ready to graduate. This was in January of the year of 76. I graduated in 76. So this was in January of 76. So he only had me for 6 months just to teach me whatever he can teach me only for 6 months. And he introduced me to Ndugu Chancler. Right. I just lost my friend a couple of years ago. I lost my mentor a couple of years ago.
Wow.
And he introduced me to Ndugu and Ndugu, of course, because I was so into music, I would read the liner notes for all of the albums and stuff that I was listening to. And I knew who he was, but, you know, I was more interested in meeting Walter Payton than I was meeting Ndugu. So it was it was a very mutual meeting. It wasn't like, oh my God, you know, I was like, nice to meet you. And that was about that was about it. And so he said, are you playing with anybody? I said, well, I do some little stuff every now and then with a few guys. I think I would play in a little band or something, and wasn't really involved that much in the music with outside of me coming home and practicing to all of the music that I would go buy. I would buy all of the stuff, and I started buying a lot of jazz. You know, my brother was a jazz saxophone player, so the jazz part was already just ingrained in me from a kid. You know, so I had listened to all of that stuff already, and all of that stuff didn't kick in until I started playing with people. When I started playing with people and they started playing all these old songs and I was able to play them, they go like, how do you even know this? You know, because I wasn't old enough to really even, you know, I'm playing straight ahead jazz, these songs, and I know the changes, and I know, not that I know the chords or anything, but I knew the arrangement of the song. I knew how to play it. I could just play. I can play what I hear. Right. Always been able to do that. So, like I said, I only had 6 months with the teacher, so the training part I had to kind of brush up on my own. I had to kind of really catch up, because when I got into the music business, once Ndugu kind of pulled me in there, after I ignored him for about 4 years, he came to me one day because I kind of, at about 22, 23 years old, I kind of lost my fire for the trying to get to the NFL, and it was time to do something different. And he came to me and said, look, man, he said, look, I'm going on the road with the Jazz Crusaders, which is one of the bands one of the records that I would buy. You know, that's the stuff that I would buy to practice to. Right. He said, I'm going on the road with the Jazz Crusaders and I need a drum tech. And I said, what is that? I don't even know what that is. What are you talking about? So he explained to me what it was. I said, I get paid to just set your drums up, put them down, and put them in the truck. And he said, yeah. I said, he told me, asked me how much. I asked him how much. And when he told me, I say, I'm in. I said, I can do that. So I went on the road and had a blast, because I was with my friend that I've known. You know, he knew how to hook me. He got me. He got me.
Mhm.
By the time I came back, I'm like, oh, I like this. This is cool, bro. I like this here. And I said to myself, I said, I can play that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So I started, you know, got back and I, you know, started playing on the local scene. And I mean, it was like my calling or something, because we played on the local scene. Everybody thought I was from New York or something, because all of my childhood friends were athletes. They weren't musicians. You know, so they never seen me, knew who I was or nothing. So a buddy of mine, well, he's a buddy now, but guy saw me playing in the club. His name was Don Wyatt, keyboard player. He was the musical director for Bill Withers.
Wow.
He said, man, I'm putting a band together for Bill Withers. He had just came out of Berkeley. The whole band was Berkeley guys except me. I'm from the University of the Street. I call it the University of Pavement.
There you go.
And,
there you go.
And everybody else was, you know, had went to Berkeley, and I was the only one. And I didn't believe him. I was like, you know, because like I said, at that time, when I started playing around in the circuit, you know, everybody, man, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. Nobody was following through with anything. So by the time he got to me and said that, I said, like, sure, man, here's my card. No problem. I didn't believe him at all. Even was going to rehearsals going like, this is such, oh my God, what am I doing here? Bill Withers walked in. I looked over, I said, oh my goodness, this is for real. I said, I said, we're really doing this for real.
A reality slip, right?
The reality hit me like, I'm like, wow, this guy wasn't kidding me. So, and it really hit me with the first day I remember the first gig was in Philadelphia. I was sitting on the drum set going like, man, this is a trip. I mean, I spent all my time training and working out and doing all of this stuff. Within a year of doing the club scene and chitlin circuit, as they call it, I'm sitting here getting ready to do this tour. I mean, I'm not getting ready to do it. It just still hadn't like punched me. And that was my first gig, Bill Withers. Did that tour in 1985. And we opened up for Jennifer Holliday. And she saw me playing with him, and she told her manager, I want that guy to play for me, because they told me the story after I was with her. Because right after I left him, I went to play for her. And it just kept going, just kept going. Wow. And it just kept going. It was like, at that point, I knew that was what I was supposed to be doing. And that God let me play my sports stuff, because he said he knew how much I loved it, but he let me play to, okay, a little fun. You had your fun now. We got to get you out of that.
Right.
So that's how everything started, and it just went from there. And things like that in this business has always happened like that for me. No agent, nothing like that. It was just God did that. I know it because I didn't. It's just the stuff that I've done, which is I've done a lot,
right?
And I didn't ask for that, and I know that the man above, I'm doing what he wants me to do. So I'm just rolling with the wave, and I'm still doing it.
There you go.
Hey man, I mean, you were channeling the energy, and it reminds me a lot of when I was coming through the ranks, so to say. If your story is so similar, me and Vaughn talk about it every so often. He'll pull something out of me to make me that'll trigger something and make me say something about what happened in my past. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, I learned a long time ago, the Creator will not put people in your path that he doesn't really want, that's going to make it difficult for you. You know what I'm saying? Especially when somebody channels music or sports, because I was also an athlete, coming up. I thought I was going to be a baseball player. And then I had moved in from being a baseball player. I was a martial artist. I had my own dojos and all that stuff.
All right.
And the thing was, but I was still doing music all the time. You see what I'm saying? So the thing was, the music, I had come to a point to where I started studying a lot of metaphysics. And the music and the martial arts and the sports and stuff is all one in the same art form. And what it is, you have to channel where the energy is in each one. But if you have that ability, like in your situation where you are, you were an athlete, you were training. So therefore you had to have discipline.
Yeah.
That discipline is the same discipline it takes to deal with that instrument. So you would really, if you made it to the NFL, that's because you were supposed to. But as a musician, you made it as a musician, that same energy that you have as a musician would have been the same energy you had as an NFL player.
I got you.
You see what I'm saying? It would.
I understand what you mean by that.
In other words, you channeled that energy from a child, so it was always in you to do that. Your opportunities came, and you didn't turn them down because of, well, you didn't think you could. You see what I'm saying? You accepted it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And once you did that, everything started rolling.
It sure did.
It just starts rolling. And like you said, until this day, you still roll. You know what I mean? You still roll.
And so you play baseball, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my strongest thing was martial arts.
Oh, that's amazing, because the only reason that I play football, because my family, I guess, sports history is baseball. My great uncle's he's in the Hall of Fame. His name was George Mule Suttles.
Okay.
He played with the Birmingham Black Bears, Black Barons.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Lord, I got a story to tell you. I got a story to tell you.
Oh, really?
Hey man, they just got the recognition they were supposed to have all these years, man.
I was on the road when because my dad who's passed on about a year and a half ago, he called me up. He said they inducted your uncle into the Hall of Fame, and I was in my hotel room and I turned it on and I got a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
And because he went and I got a chance to watch it on TV. And his name is George Mule Suttles, and he's from the East Coast. I think they buried him in New Jersey somewhere, and I haven't seen his grave yet.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna drive over there too to see it. And I gotta go to Cuba because they were playing baseball in Cuba back then. And he was a home run hitter. Okay. And they said he hit a ball 600 and something feet, and they put a plaque in the ground where the ball landed. And they said they still got the plaque there. I want to go see it.
So he hit one to the moon.
That's why his name was Mule.
Yeah, he was a big boy. He built the same, but he was about 5 inches taller than me.
That's funny.
Yeah. I was gonna, man. I got some. Your story was. It's almost like talking to. It's like you talking to me, and I'm hearing my story through you.
Oh wow, this is crazy. That's nuts.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But the thing about it is, I played baseball in high school, and I went to Dominguez High School, in fact.
Right. Okay.
And I put just as much passion into it as I've done my entire life. If it was there, I put my all into it 100%. But it wasn't for me.
Right. I know what you mean. I understand. You got to come to that record. You got to come to that realization.
You got to come to that record. You got to come to that realization. And I had gotten hurt in my sophomore year in high school, and I hurt my back. And I didn't think it was over for me, but I just didn't have the physicality anymore for it. And so I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to. I was in the band though. I knew that. I was a trombonist in the band, in the jazz band, in the marching band, in the orchestra, and all of that. And music has always been a part of my life as well. And I had I've had cousins that were older than me, and that was the bridge to the recording. Listening to a lot of music because they were older, and Motown was big then, and here comes Philadelphia International, and then along comes this other music, this jazz stuff,
Right.
And all along, when I was a little boy, I think I told Edwin this story one time about my dad taking me and my older brother to the barbershop when we were kids growing up. And constantly, every Saturday afternoon when we got into that barbershop, Sidewinder by Lee Morgan was playing on that radio.
Lee Morgan.
I got to the point where I said, oh my gosh. So from that point on, that music has always been in my head, you know.
Right.
And the same, you know, so I went through school and high school and graduated and, you know, didn't know what direction I was going to be headed in and went to junior college. And met
Where'd
a
you
couple
go?
of guys, LA City College.
Oh, wow. No,
Yeah.
you didn't.
Yes,
I did too.
did.
I played
Yes,
football
I
there.
did.
I played football and ran track
Oh,
there.
no. Really?
Yes. LACC, yes.
Oh,
Our track team won
wow.
the championship off of my triple jump.
Oh, my gosh. Get out of here.
Didn't I tell you guys
Well,
gonna
let me
have
ask
some
you this.
stories?
Wow.
Jeff, what high school did you go to? What high
I
school
went to
did you go
Washington
to?
High School.
You went to Washington High School.
Yes, sir.
My gosh, my first cousin went to Washington High School. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Were you aware when you met Ndugu, you were aware he went to Locke, right?
He went to Locke. Yeah, I know.
He was at
Yeah,
Locke High
because
School. Yeah, he went to
Reggie
high school.
Andrews
You
was
know
his
who else
teacher.
went to Locke?
Who?
Oh my gosh. You know who else was at Locke High School the same time he was? Oh, I think she might have been a little bit older than him.
Patrice?
Hello.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
Yeah,
Patrice Russian.
I played with Patrice because the same teacher that introduced me to Ndugu knew Patrice as well. She came there and we played one of her songs and I played drums with her.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and let them know
And
that.
she's on my album.
Okay, and let them know that you were talking about Patrice Russian, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just let them know you're talking about Patrice Russian.
Patrice Russian.
Russian.
Yeah, there you go.
Patrice Baby Fingers
Yes.
Russian.
There you go.
Baby fingers. Yes.
I
Yes.
put her and Ndugu on my album together.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And
There's
I was
certain
talking
things I
to.
have to do. That was something I had to do.
Oh yeah, you gotta acknowledge
Yeah,
that.
I was.
Gotta acknowledge it.
I had interned when I was in junior college. I had interned at the only jazz station at the time, 24-hour jazz station in America. It was KKGL.
KKGL,
And,
yeah.
You know, back in the day, I was an intern there. And I used to hang out with lots of friends of mine who we were in the radio. We were like the broadcasting club. And also we did DJs. We actually had the radio station at LA City College at the same time I was there.
Wow.
So one thing led to another, man, and I started interning. We started doing these ventures, you know, we go into actually tour a lot of the radio stations. And at the time I went into KJLH and I got blown away. I mean, that was Stevie Wonder's radio station at the time.
Right.
You know, he bought it from John Lamar Hill. Of the mortuary that actually owned it before he did, and you know it just took off. So I got to know a lot of the jocks there. Lawrence Tanter. Let's see who else was there. A guy named Ted Terry. You know,
I remember the names. Yes.
So I got to tell you this story. I told Edwin one time. It was when I saw Ndugu at, I think it was Exposition Park in downtown LA. And they had brought all these musicians. It was a summer concert there, and a lot of us from the school was at the park. We was going to see these live, and it was free. It was free. So they had Azar Lawrence there. They had Bobby Lyle. They had Ronnie Foster. Wow. I mean, you name it. And on top of that, here comes Ndugu playing drums. And they played Bobby Lyle's The Genie. Now, you know The Genie is a drum-driven composition. Ndugu went unconscious on us.
That's that one. That's the melody, yeah.
That's it. You know, and it's like boom, 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 ba-da-da, boom, boom. Boom, boom, ba-da-da-da-da, and then boom, 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 boom. And Bobby Lyle was ridiculous that day, but Ndugu went unconscious on us. He was just, I said, what is he doing? He said, what are you doing? He was insane on those drums.
He's incredible,
and I said to myself, oh my gosh. And it was breathtaking to me. And I said, I'm going to remember this for the rest of my life. And I said, if one thing I wasn't sure, I learned from that moment, this music has a purpose. It has a meaning. It has all of those things encompasses what the human condition is all about. And I said, I got to be part of this. I didn't care what it was I was going to do.
Some kind of way.
Some kind of way I was going to stay involved in this music.
Right.
And so, and then I moved to Atlanta. I left LA and you know, decided I was going to try the HBCU thing. I didn't know what it was all about, and I heard so much about it.
How long you been there?
Here. I've been in Atlanta over 30 years. Over 30 years.
Because I was in Atlanta a lot. I have a very pretty. I got a pretty good support system there. If I was to ever come, even more so now with meeting you guys, but you know, I don't know, you know, Sonny Emery and Ronnie Garrett and all of the guys that I know there now, you know, they're doing some incredible things, and you know, I met Edwin, and so I feel that I would be okay if I came there to still be able to do what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And Edwin he's like my historian. You know, he's got so much history behind this man. Oh, and wow. I am so in awe. Every time I have a conversation with him, it's like I go back in time, and it's an experience, like it's an out-of-body experience. He takes me on these journeys to the juke joints, the chitlin circuits, the guys that he met, you know, just playing in clubs, and this history of the jazz scene here in Atlanta. It's like I'm part of that now, and it's just a beautiful thing to be part of. And you know, oh my gosh, your story is so compelling. And you know, when you, the only thing I can say is the same thing that happened to you happened to me, especially when I got into this acting thing. I had no idea it was going to take off like it did.
That's amazing. That's amazing to me. That's true.
It is. I mean, I can tell you, when I was doing like little side work as a, you know, some stand-in work for some TV shows that were shot here in Atlanta, I had the film version of the play Miss Evers Boys, which was about the Tuskegee experiments. And I didn't know, you know, I just went in there and did the audition and, you know, kind of let it go and then think nothing of it. And all of a sudden, I got a call, and my agent said, didn't you audition for Miss Evers Boys? And I was like, yeah. She said, well, baby, they want you. I was like shocked, because I knew Fishburne was in it, Alfre Woodard, Joe Morton, Ozzie Davis, E.G. Marshall. I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it was the, you know, and it was a door opener for me. It opened the door. And like you said,
man. Great.
It was busy, you were busy, and one job after the next job after the next job. But it's, and you know, Edwin brings in the relationship between artistry on the stage and artistry as a musician, and it's all the same. The passion, and I took that quote by the great Bruce Lee, "Be like water," and I've been like that ever since. And so, you know, I'm adaptable. I can change. You know, water takes on the shape of everything, anything that it's in it, contained in a container. It takes on that shape, and that's what I've done. And I've been very, very fortunate to be able to work for as long as I have, and to meet people like Edwin along the way to keep me buoyant, you know, keep me flowing, so I can shape myself into all these things, you know. But enough about me, man. You know.
No, man, that's extraordinarily very interesting. I love hearing it. It's very interesting. And you know, we can stop now, but I look forward to talking about this some more, because I will be coming to the ATL.
No doubt.
I will be coming to, and I want to talk about this some more, because I know we got a lot more in common.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of time now.
Okay.
We can go all night. You want to? You know what I'm saying? We can go all night, buddy. If you're on the clock, just let us know. But we can talk about this all night, because I also wanted to ask you, okay, right now during this pandemic, how has it actually affected most of the people that do what you do in the ways of let's say people not being able to move around as much, but at the same time, what are they doing over there to keep themselves, in the game, so to say?
With the acting stuff, it is a secondary thing for me. It's not one of the forefront things for me. I really, really like it though. I really like it, but I can only speak on what the sets are like. It's like heavy. I mean, we get tested every day. We got to test 2 times before we can get on the set.
Wow.
Every morning when we check in, we got to get tested, and then you get your test the next day. If you're negative, you can come back. You can keep working. Got to hide your mask under your clothes. Do a take stuff off, and do what you got to do, and you got to hide your stuff under. So for me, it's not a lot of pressure for me when it comes to the acting thing, and very surprised. Like I understand when Vaughn got surprised for getting a call for something, because I'm surprised every time they book me, because I just don't think that I'm that, so.
Well, somebody,
but they see something.
Somebody,
I get stuff,
They see something.
Somebody see it.
Somebody see something. I mean, because I don't. The thing that I'm doing now has Chris Rock and Robert De Niro and
Wow.
some younger people. The guy, one of the white guys that played Batman. I forgot. I don't know. He's one of the
Batman
actors that played Batman. I don't know which one. It's not Michael Keaton. It's one of the other ones.
Not Michael Keaton.
He played this role where he was kind of a psycho dude or something before. I mean, recently.
Oh, you're talking about I know you're talking the British actor. He's British.
Is he?
Yeah. It's escaping me right now. He played one of the Batman characters. He did play Batman in one of the series they did.
Right, he played Batman, I think, one time, but he just did a recent movie maybe 2 years ago where I think he got an Oscar for it or something. He had the
it was the one about
the paint on his face
versus
the one who played the Joker.
Yeah, I know he looked like the Joker in this. Yeah. The thing that I'm talking about. He had a scene where he had that type of stuff on his face.
Oh, okay.
But see, I'm not that deep into it to even know all of the people. Some young girl named Zoe something. I think Lenny Kravitz's daughter is in it as well. So there's a lot of people in this movie.
Zoe Kravitz, that's his daughter. Yeah, that's Lenny Kravitz's daughter, and Lisa Bonet from The Cosby Show. That's her mom.
Yes, yeah, that's she's in it too as well. I saw her a couple of days.
Right.
It's it's a pretty big movie, but I'm in. It's a 30s period piece. I'm just in the band playing in one of the band, just the band scene stuff. Kind of the same stuff me and Edwin did.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
right.
It's cool. It's cool. It's fun. But
it's very cool. It's very cool.
Huh?
Yeah. No, I said as far as it is very cool. Don't get me wrong. I've been an extra. It's very cool.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Jeff, now about the music that's actually being, marketed out there now? There's not a lot of, of course, there's not a lot of straight ahead that's being marketed, but
okay.
I mean, it's being marketed, but they put it on the back burner, At least over here.
I'm speaking in the jazz world because I'm in 2 different jazz bands. Both of them very similar. One's kind of got a spiral gyro kind of vibe. Brothers though, spiral gyro kind of vibe, and the other one's a little bit more fusion type of thing. And there's no I was talking to one of my guys about this today. There's no place to market us. There's no place to market us. But I told them, I said, if you guys want to change the music and soften it up, got to get somebody else, because I'm not going to play that cotton candy jazz. I can't do it. I'm so, you know, I can't do that, man. I remember earlier I told you, I told my mom, I said, Mom, I can play that. You know what I was listening to?
Mm-hmm.
James Brown. James Brown stopped me in my tracks. I was walking, playing at the, I was in the living room. I'm still in my same house. I was in the living room. James Brown, I don't know what song it was, but they stopped me in my tracks. I said, what is that? I said, whatever that is. I said, Mom, I can play that. And she looked at me and said, boy, stop all that stuff. And philosophically, I'm in the same space as James Brown. And I know James Brown didn't make his music to please a bunch of people. I know he made his music to please this kind of people.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And everybody else
yes,
just happened to like it.
And you know what? A lot of people had forgotten Oliver Nelson arranged a jazz album for James Brown years ago, back in the 50s. And he played all the standards. You know, it's like, for the most part, it seemed to be orchestrated with a big band. Oliver Nelson wrote and arranged all the stuff. And James Brown sung every standard. Now, if you want to hear something different, you check that out. You would not expect that. You know what I'm saying? And now this is, I think this was before his first hit. You know what I'm saying? So it would make sense because the music hadn't quite changed, you know, until after that. You see what I'm saying? Until after James had recorded, I think it was Please Please or something like that. Big hit that he had. But before that, he did have an album that was arranged and by Oliver Nelson. He was a great big band.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, wait, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get you a copy of it and let you check it out. And you would not believe it, man. But then again, I'm telling my age now. You know,
that's all right.
Now, is this how long ago, Edwin, how long ago did he do that? I mean, because I know one I've heard James Brown actually perform with the British Philharmonic. Is that the same one?
Well, it might have been a different album, but what I'm telling you now is the actual music was actually arranged by
Oliver Nelson.
Oliver Nelson, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, and it was all standards. There was no pop in it anywhere. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay. I got to sing all the standards. But I also heard, believe it or not, I was looking at Ed Sullivan's show. And they had, every time the Supremes came on, they did all standards. You see, but this was before they blew up. You know what I mean? But they were singing all these standards. And I was like, you know, that got away from me. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't hear many people even talking about them doing standards. You see?
Right.
And I know that was something, man. I was just looking at the show. I said, "Damn, I need to go find all those records again and check them out, you know, to see, you know, because they were doing standards that I never thought they would say." You know.
Wow.
But I think a lot of that, from what I heard in the documentary that I saw not too long ago with Smokey and Barry individually at Motown's, you know, at the museum, you know, as Motown has been preserved to look like it was back in the 50s or the early 60s. And that's something that Barry had wanted them to do when it got to television, was to do standards. You know, he wanted them, you know, they were grooming them for something really special to be able to be performing at some of these nightclubs like in Vegas and things like that. So, you know, I think that was something that, especially when they got to Ed Sullivan.
Yeah, not long ago I saw.
Wanted them to do.
Yeah, not long ago I saw somebody posted some stuff that the Jackson 5 was doing, which was all standard. And I was like, man, I said, boy, you know, you dig deeper enough, you can find these things. You know what I'm saying? And whoever they are is posting this stuff, they're evidently, you know, connoisseurs of music, because when you see the Jackson 5 doing standards, you know what I'm saying, one right after the other, and I'm like, oh man, they had a repertoire. You know what I mean? But of course, that wasn't making them money, of course, but it gave them the exposure, I guess, on television. You know what I'm saying? But I was gonna also ask you, Jeff, as far as the young musicians these days, and what they're bringing to the table, do you think it has, is it going to make any kind of, is it going to evolve any more than where it is? Because right now it's pretty much an R&B based type of vamp type of thing. Do you think they're going to be?
I do feel that. I most certainly hope so. That's my hope, is that it, you know, because a lot of I think that there's still enough young people that are taking music that get the training that's out there, the traditional way of learning how to play an instrument. A lot of these guys are pushing buttons. It's just the human element is just starting to really just kind of go. And there's things that are out there that I do like. I'm not going to say that I don't like it. It's just that I still just feel that the tradition and the training and the discipline of music and what the Charlie Parkers and the Mileses and the Duke Ellingtons and the back in, you know, those guys had to, you know, what they knew and how they knew how to play. You know, a lot of these guys could play like 4 or 5 different instruments and be able to cross them together to be able to understand, oh, that's how you play this. They just knew how to do that. They can play piano, they can play guitar. These guys know how to play Pro Tools and play Fruity Loops and Ableton Live. And I hope so that it gets to the point where we got we get the musicians as well, you know, because I don't want to knock what's going on, because still some good stuff that comes out of that. I don't want to knock them, because I don't want to stop them from even doing it. Whatever it turns into from there, I don't want to knock them from it. But I think at some point they're going to realize that they need to have that training. So hopefully it'll go back.
Yeah, and it's probably going to go back only if they accept it back into schools. Because, you know, in schools, that exposure to it is what brought a lot of musicians to the point to where they were. That doesn't mean that they necessarily become a musician and have to go to college and all that stuff. I mean, Charlie Parker never went to college, neither did John Coltrane. But because of the exposure to music, you see what I'm saying? They were able to, like you say, come from the University of the Streets and learn how to put it together. You see what I'm saying? Just in that environment alone, you know.
But one of the things that I think that's contributing to the fact that the exposure that you're talking about, for me, the exposure was the radio was different. I mean, when you turn the radio on, you had all of this music coming on, and you're just getting bombarded with just hitting you. Even if you drive down the street and you stop at a light and somebody's playing that music loud, you're getting bombarded with this music, because back in the 60s and 50s, 60s, and 70s, what you're getting bombarded with had chords and changes and all kind of stuff and structure to it, and it had all this stuff in there.
Absolutely.
And it's just, you're getting taught.
Absolutely.
You're getting taught walking down the street. You know, even if you don't go to school, the University of Pavement is going to teach you.
Oh yeah.
You're going to, because if you're hearing it like that, it's going to teach you. You're going to, if you got big ears, because if you know, if you can hear it and you go, oh man, that's some good stuff right there.
Yes, sir.
Something in you as a musician is going to want you to want to do that.
Right.
You know.
Right. But now you look at and if you look at where the music, when I hear the things today, and I hear the button pushers, let's say it like that, that's kind of a term used, and they're creating this music, winning Grammys, winning you know, big budget stuff, and all of it's basically button pushing.
Yes.
I wonder how long are they going to last? You know what I'm saying? Because
I don't think it's going to go. I don't think it's going away. I don't think it's going away. I just don't, you know, and I think a lot of it has to do with economics. You know, it's kind of easy for them to push the button and get that orchestra to sound right there, rather than calling all of this big orchestra in here and being able to do this. Right. You know, it's cheaper.
Yeah, very much. Yeah.
It's cheaper, but it's a cheaper, but the human element is gone. I mean, because all of that, all when those violins and these cellos are playing and these flutes over here, these horn section is over here, when all of that stuff is going together, man, it's like, you take somebody that hasn't really had to experience that growing up and you put them in an audience and just play some music that's close to what they like, but put a live vibe to it, they're gonna go
on that note. Yeah,
that's gonna mess them up because it's just the depth of it is gonna mess them up. Because they're not, their ears haven't heard that before.
Right, and I found out those the younger people that really are kind of like in that groove, that kind of stuck more so not for the music. It's almost like the image of the artist. They seem to be more attracted to the image of the artist versus the music, because like you said, when they're listening to the music, they're not hearing necessarily musicians playing, unless somebody, you know, like a Kanye West, somebody that will actually go and get musicians to play over certain tracks for certain beats, you know, that kind of thing. It's a little different with most of the rest of it, you know, because, you know, the big budget folks, they can always hire musicians. They can always go into studio, you know, real studio and play over stuff, and then put the automation on top of all that.
Exactly, yeah.
And now, those for those artists like that, you know, they'll stay around for sure. But it seems like there's a new artist every 3 weeks, and it's like, okay,
I can't keep up either.
I can't do it, man. It's amazing how many people have come out in the last month. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? The other music hadn't even had a chance to breathe. You know what I'm saying? And it's something else.
The turnover rate is unbelievable. I have never seen anything like it.
So I know. But now, Jeff, I think it all got a lot to do with, like I said, the image, you know, the image of the artist and the frequencies in which they are recording. The frequencies that they're recording through, they learned that, okay, an 808 is the tick, okay, when it comes to your drum frequency, your kick drum frequency. The 808 rather, the 909, and what is it? They won't go back to the 707. They'll say the 808, 909, and so forth. Those drum kicks, patches, are what they want to hear. And so they pretty much embedded those into the sound that radio people are broadcasting. Now, when you take a great musician that was like your mentor, Ndugu, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he sounded like a drum machine.
Yeah.
He sounded like what a drum machine should sound like. You know?
Yeah. It's amazing how it's amazing how things have flipped.
Yeah.
When because when I was just talking to my buddy, one of my buddies one of the bands that I'm in, because we're getting ready to record some stuff, and I was telling him how back when I was coming up, when I was listening to all of this music, and I was still playing ball then, I could listen to a record and go, that was done on the East Coast because that's Steve Gadd playing drums, because I can tell the way his hi-hat sound and the way his snare is tuned. Right. It's a human element. Right. You know, I can tell that when Lenny White's playing. I can tell when Ndugu's playing, Harvey Mason. I just know them. And then that's just the drummers. And then you get into the bass players. Right. You can listen to these things, these different players, and you can almost pick the band out by just listening to the record. That's having a sharp ear. Yeah. Right now, it's like, oh, like you said, that's an 808. And then you got this little tickly hi-hat that they use. Right. Everybody, and I don't even know what they call that. That's just a...
That's what they call it.
You know, and that's pretty much the whole song is the bass, the groove, and you know, and I'm not knocking them because they doing what they are exposed to, and they doing what they can with it. Because if you can make money doing that and support your family doing that, why do I need to go to school and learn how to play the piano or why do I need to learn that stuff? You know, and you talk to them, they go like, you know, so what is your motivation for them? I'm trying to get them checks, man. I'll set my drum set up at Venice Beach and go play because I want to play.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I get paid big money to do what I do, but I'm going to play them in my backyard, or I'm going to play regardless.
Right.
And if they can play
Right.
without having to practice, because they don't have to practice to push a button. I got to practice, because if my chops are down, everybody got Jeff sounded. Did you hear Jeff the other day? Boy, you he didn't sound like himself, you know. You can tell I haven't been practicing.
Yeah. That's
They
what
don't have
say.
to do that, because the drum machine is doing it.
Right. And that's amazing how, you know, like I said, they're motivated by that sound of the technology, and so dependent on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To me, that's scary. And it's scary in a lot of ways to me. Because just as they are dependent on that for the music, they're also dependent on that same technology for their own social awareness. And what I mean by that, for the most part, you notice they always have their face looking down in the phone. I don't care where they are, their face is in the phone.
Yeah.
Whatever's on their phone, whatever information comes across it. And the reason why I say that, this Vaughn checked with me this morning, so I sent him something that was posted about using the technology, and he calls me and tells me he got scared, and I was like, no, don't get scared, baby. This is here. It's here. You know what I'm saying? And that being that dependent on the technology, could you imagine how many people actually, young people, if it crossed over into other platforms, how many actually saw that and thought that it was real, you know? And because it was just that good of transferring it from, you know, the technology to the person. It was that good. You couldn't tell that was not
It was
real.
amazing.
Especially if you did not know.
It was amazing.
Yeah, if you did not know. And what it was basically somebody put some images, some pictures really, of some, I guess because of Black History Month. They put some images of Frederick Douglass, who else was it? Harriet Tubman.
Ida B. Wells.
Yeah,
Harriet Tubman.
All these people. But just like
W.E.B. Du Bois.
Just like we see each other now and talking, the technology had them doing that. You see what I'm saying? Facial expression.
Their images were moving.
Yeah.
And it was stunning.
Yeah.
I was like, these people are well over 150 years old, and you've never, all you see is the photos. But
right.
the
you know what?
You saw it?
I saw that.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, but there's a technology called AL or something. It's called AL. And they can take an old 100-year-old photo and just have it eyes moving, lips.
Yeah, animated.
Yeah. I saw that today.
Animated.
So if you think about it, and you know how the education system is today, there are some people that don't even know those people don't exist anymore. But when they see that image in their mind, they you know,
they're still here.
They've seen those people. You know what I'm saying? And that was that reminds me of the people that button pushing, you know, in the music. You know?
Yeah. The technology is just, you know,
it's ahead. Yeah, it's ahead of the person trying to use it.
It's like
I was gonna say I didn't start panicking. It just shook me up, you know, because I'm looking at. I said, Edwin, why did you do this to me?
I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just me. That's all.
Yeah.
But I have to admit this. I mean, I love our culture. I love.
Oh my God!
I'm unapologetically black. I am.
I love being a black man. Oh my God!
And
I
it's
love with all that comes with it. I'm good. I'm good.
With all that comes with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that comes with it because I know a lot of other people.
You
know, they think that they can do this.
Oh yeah.
Because this paint job don't come off. It don't rub off.
Right.
You know, because I was watching one of these episodes of Shark Tank, and this brother came on there and had invented something for some type of food service, and they didn't give him his deal, which is fine. So he was walking off, and he turned around and said, you know, I worked my butt off to try to do this, and the technology was pretty cool. But, you know, there was a few little glitches in there that if they would have got with him, they probably could have fixed it pretty quickly. They don't seem to want to do anything. It reminds me of the record companies. Bring your project in totally done, and then we'll give you a deal. That's how it seems on that show. Right. But one of the guys, he was a younger brother, slammed him. My father he worked his butt off to do this. He was an immigrant from blah, 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 blah. I almost jumped through the TV. I said, your father was from where? He wasn't from nowhere where his skin was dark.
Right.
He was somewhere where his skin was not dark because he got an opportunity to work that hard. Right. You get an opportunity. You don't even get the opportunity back in the day, when it was really hard to be black. You didn't even get an opportunity to show how hard you want to work. Because you can come over here from Hungary, Belgium, whatever you want to do, change your name to John Smith, and you will get an opportunity. Because you look just like them. Right. This don't look like nothing that they feel comfortable with. So,
right, exactly.
It's tough for us.
True enough.
So but I'm proud to be what I am because it shows how strong I am as an individual. Very proud of it.
Oh yeah, and we're notorious for making something out of nothing.
Exactly.
For 400 years.
And they know that. It's known. It's known that we. Yeah. They know.
Oh, they know.
How cold-blooded we are. We some bad. We some bad folks.
Ooh, man, look, I call it melanin magic. That's what
I like that.
Nobody can do it. Nope. Nobody can do it.
If you ain't got it, you can't do it.
You ain't got it, and the thing about it is, I was telling Edwin about this book that just came out recently. This guy who's an author wrote a book about how and I'm like this. I know jazz is a multicultural art form. I know that. Beyond, that's always been. I have never known it not to be multicultural. But he made a point to make this book like, the white guys who played jazz and from 1919 to 1945 had been shut out. Their names have not been recorded in the histrionics behind the development of jazz in America. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Of course they were. The fact of the matter is, most of the music they were playing was shuttled to them secretly because a lot of it was written by black composers anyway.
Yes.
I mean, the swing era is primarily all white bands. What do you want? How can you say you've not made any contributions? Bill Evans, Dave Brubeck, let's see, who else? Who did we say the trumpet player from yesterday, Edwin? We were talking about anyway, Stan Getz. I can go on and on and on about Jerry Mulligan. All of these guys had an impact on the music. What are you talking about? And it's not like, the brothers invited them in the first place because they could play. We didn't reject nobody.
What we never do. That's our problem. We never do. We don't recognize that stuff.
We never do it. We don't recognize anything like that. And then on top of that, it was the other folks, the greedy ones, the producers, the guys who got them in the studio to record this stuff, was more concerned about what it was going to put in their pockets. They had to get that bag. So, it got to the point where I don't see any sort of conflict you are talking about. I mean, they've always made a contribution. It's just that we didn't look at it in terms of like, how do you monetize an art form? But we learned along the way how important our music was, and it really, I mean, what sold it for me, I'll never forget when Ray Charles went to Ahmet Ertegun at Atlantic Records and said, I want my masters. And that was the end of that. But, Ray wasn't playing.
They really couldn't.
Ray wasn't playing.
That was kind of a bold statement for me to even talk about, because how are you going to experience what jazz was about when you didn't have to experience racism? You didn't have to
Boom. There you go.
experience, you know, you didn't have
It
to
is.
experience. So what do you mean you left out? Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to be in, then you'd have been on that picking cotton with the rest of us.
There,
You know
there
what I'm
you
saying?
go.
That therefore you would have
Yep.
learned what the experience was about to a point, because there were Caucasians that picked cotton to that. But the thing about it was they were, you could say that they were, at the time of slavery, they were slaves because they would go and pick cotton at the field and they would go home at a certain time of day. Whereas the black people that was in the same field have to pick it all
could
day
go
and
home.
half the night. You know what I'm saying? And didn't have no,
Yeah.
and then couldn't go home because I mean they right there on the plantation. They didn't have a home.
Right.
So you know, for people to make that those analogies about them being excluded, I don't care what it's from, especially an art form like jazz, is like you had to have been there. Jazz roots come from those fields, and it evolved. That's all it is. Those people, their triumphs and their them being persecuted and everything else, all that came out in the music. You know what I'm saying? So,
Indeed.
you know, if
Indeed.
you have never experienced racism as for what it is, then you can't say that you were left out of anything that you would never have part of.
What is it going to feel like?
Yeah,
Because
we,
you know what is it going to what is it going to feel like? Because it comes from that experience of racism. It's a certain feeling that you get from that.
yeah,
And it's my only voice
Oppression.
is to be able
Oppression.
to, if my only voice is to be able to play the blues and play the jazz, that's where that feel comes from.
That's it.
That's the voice you're playing from. Yeah.
That's where you're coming from. You're coming from your.
And like I tell
your
Edwin,
being.
I look at it like this: jazz ain't nothing but soul. That's all it is. Jazz ain't nothing but soul. And that's true of the American lexicon of music. The best stuff is soulful. You feel it. You understand it. It speaks to your spirit. It speaks to your soul.
It touches you. It touches
You know,
you. It's going to touch
it
you.
touches you. It touches you.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but electronics and computers don't touch you. That's artificial. That's not of the blood.
It hasn't been. I don't know any computers that got pulled over and beat down just because it was the computer driving down the street.
There you go. There you go.
Come on, man.
So that's cool. But so what type of like with your projects you got? You go back, get back to the stuff you were working on as far as the music goes.
Musically, I got to do another record, my own individual project. Then I got the Sexual Chocolate Band. The original name of the band was called Kush, and I was talking to I talked to those guys today. They want to do some stuff, and they're trying to work on some stuff and try to parlay the Sexual Chocolate thing a little bit more, because we didn't think about it being what it was when we did it 30-something years ago. We were just, how it came about and all of that type of stuff. We didn't think nothing, because I didn't think nothing about it when I was approached about putting the band together for it. It's like, sure, I can put the band together, no problem.
Well, okay. And that'll work good, but now you can have Sexual Chocolate East and Sexual Chocolate West.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Sexual Chocolate East Coast, Sexual Chocolate West Coast.
West Coast.
That's what I was telling people when they saw me in some of the clips, some of the trailers. I said, yeah, I'm officially Sexual Chocolate right now. I said, but it's more like Sexual Chocolate East. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because everybody else was from the West, so
right.
They got Sexual Chocolate West. That word. But but as far as the other music that you're doing, what is that about?
You know, it's instrumental jazz, but the next project I'm going to be singing on. I'm going to be doing a little bit of singing on the next project. So the music is going to be. We don't know what it's going to turn into at this particular point. It's whatever it feels like.
Okay.
It's going to be grooving, that's for sure.
All right, that's a good thing.
Well, all right. That's what we want.
That's a good thing.
We want that groove.
Oh yeah. So when you get ready to release it and everything, make sure you get up with us, man. Because Vaughn
for
will
sure.
definitely put it on his
I will.
playlist.
I will do that. Definitely will.
Yeah.
And what if now as far as the oh yeah, for everybody who's been listening so far, what we were talking about, the sexual chocolate reference is the fact that Jeff and myself was in this latest Coming to America 2.
Right.
So the thing is, if there's anything that you can take away from this one, that see Jeff was in the first one also.
Yes.
And so therefore, is there anything you can take away from this one that's like any different from that first one?
I think the concept of appreciating it for what it turned into. Like I said, if you see the first one, if you look at the ending credits, I was a production assistant on the movie, and the director knew that I was a musician, so he approached me, asked me to put a band together. We did the scenes. It was funny. It was so many outtakes. Eddie Murphy is amazing when it comes to improv. Because the first one, he was a little bit more interactive with us.
Yeah.
And they didn't use that stuff, but it was just a fun thing to do. And it's just, we did it and we were done. This time, I'm aware of the impact that we had. And I'm just, for me, it's just being more appreciative of the blessing that God gave me to be able to even do this. That's the most that I've kind of gotten from it. There's nothing as far as being on the set and all of that type of stuff. It's just the blessing of being able to do it. And I know that it comes from up above. Once I always said, this is a blessing. I had nothing to do with none of this. And that for me is what I get from it. It's just, I'm just appreciative to be part of history. It's gonna be, it is what it is. And I'm appreciative of that. I'm just more aware of it,
Yeah.
To be in a position to be that person that did that. It's like, out of all of the people in this world, why do you get to do this? And it's hard to,
Well,
it's hard to, I can't fathom it. So it's just something that comes beyond me. And this, I just want to soak in the appreciation that I have, that the great Lord above gave to be able to have me be able to do it and be one of those people that experienced that.
Same here,
Absolutely.
man.
Absolutely.
It's just amazing. When I even got the call, funny part was,
tell me about that, because that's I want to know that. I want to know that from you.
Okay, yeah, you got to hear this from me. Well, what happened was a friend of mine called me and said he needed a musician for a movie track, right? So he really didn't tell me, get in depth what it was. So I was out of town anyway. And I told him I'd be back, particular day, because I was moving around. I was on the road. And I messed around here and got back into town early that morning. And so I didn't even go to bed. And so I get out to the studio. And when I'm at the studio, someone said that they had to get me over into, I was like my wife does extra work a lot. She did a lot of extra stuff before, so she kind of knew the ropes as far as being extra. And so when I went out there, I assumed that's what I was going to be doing. That's extra stuff, not be seen or anything like that. Be behind the scenes. So I'm ready to go into a studio somewhere and do some track. And, until the guy comes to tell me, well, you got to do hair and makeup. And I look at the guy, and I said, I don't got no hair. You know what I'm saying? There's no hair here to do. You know what I'm saying? So he takes me over to the place, takes me to the front of the line, said, this guy needs hair and makeup now. And the lady looked at me, man, and started doing like this, and took a powder puff and puffed me in the face one time and said, okay, that's it.
You're good.
You're good. so I went back and waited and everything. Then when I got over there, that's when I heard one of the cast members say something about sex with chocolate. And to tell you the truth, I had forgotten about all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I was trying to figure out what that was until I called my wife and said, what is sex with chocolate? You know what I'm saying? And she started telling me what it was about and everything. I was like, oh, so it still hadn't hit me yet. So by the time everybody got together over there, I'm going like, wait a minute. So I took my phone, I tried to Google it up, the movie, and I was skipping everything to try to get to where I found it was mentioned. Then I said, oh, I'm in the band, and it still hadn't dawned on me, but I didn't think that it would be that pop. I didn't think that was that popular, until I saw the thing for myself. I said, oh man. So it was like, oh, okay, this is what I'm doing. Oh, okay, and I'm thinking, that I still had to do these tracks. But no, you know what I'm saying? It was just confusing at first.
I got you.
Like, that's kind of interesting. So my wife told me after that came out, she says, you were in a featured role. And I said,
yes, featured.
And I said, yeah. Oh, really? I said, is that good or bad? So she said, no, that's good. That's good. So yeah. And it went from there, man, and I just really got up. So when I started telling people that I was in the movie, they said, oh, what are you doing? And I mentioned the name. Oh, the first thing they do was laugh. And I was like, wait a minute. What's so funny about that? They would just laugh and everything. And I was like, man, I got to look at this movie and see exactly what was going on. So I got to really sit down in the movie and look at it and see what's going on. Because when it first came out, I didn't really look at it. I was looking at it in pieces, parts here, parts there, because I was working every night and everything. And so, I didn't get a chance to sit down and look at the whole thing. I'd see it in different spots, you know what I'm saying? So I never pulled everything together, And then, but it was funny, the whole thing. I did, and even right now, it's kind of funny to me. You know what I'm saying? I said, people actually remember that group to be the thing that everybody remembers more than anything else. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing because I didn't know that it was going to be that. Because when we did it, the band actually did the rap party too. We did the rap party and they wanted the band to do the premiere. But I was getting ready to go back on the road and I couldn't do it. And because I was the one that got everybody, got the gig, so to speak, and I wasn't going to be there, the guy said, man, if you're not going to be here, we don't want to do it. I said, I'm going to choke you guys here. I said, come on, man, go do it. And we did the rap party, but we didn't do the premiere. I wish we would have gotten a chance to do that because I think it would have been. But I think things turn out for the reason that they do. So, Water Under the Bridge done. Yep. It is what it was, and everybody knows Sex with Chocolate.
Yeah, they do.
They say Sex with Chocolate, and they stomp their foot.
Every time.
Chocolate.
Yeah. That's it. Well, anyway, man, it was great talking to you. I'm glad.
Likewise.
And like you say, we'll have some other things to talk about, especially with the other projects going. And we'll just go ahead and now let everybody know how they can catch up with you, how they can get your music, just to chat with you or whatever.
Facebook, I guess Facebook, Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn for my. I have a rehearsal podcast studio here in LA, in the LA Inglewood, not far from the Forum and the new SoFi Stadium. I have a rehearsal place called 8th Avenue Sound in Inglewood, and that's where I'm gonna be doing some of my podcast stuff and a little light talk show that I'm gonna do for musicians.
Yeah.
Wow. That's some of the projects that I have. And when you guys come to LA, please call me. Please let me know you're gonna be here, so I can have you either on my show or just be able to just hang out with you.
Right. And what's
Edwin and I got to be there together because I'm looking at that. We got to be there together.
Right.
I'm I'm looking at LA back in the day, like 1980s, and I know it's changed dramatically since then.
Oh
So,
man,
you know,
you
I've
should
heard,
drive down
I've heard,
Crenshaw
I've heard.
now.
See, I've heard.
Yeah,
It's marvelous over there now.
yeah,
Absolutely
it's changing
marvelous.
up. They still acting a fool around here though. I'm telling you, my senses
Well,
have
you know,
lighting up at night. Now look at it, man assaulted, man shot at, man. I'm like, wow, what's going on?
That's all over the country, bro.
look, I was gonna say, you don't know nothing till you come to Atlanta.
I'm telling you.
You know, you ain't seen
Oh yeah, it has changed a lot, around here too, for sure. You know.
It may look nice, but it ain't what you think going
Yeah,
on.
I love coming out there. I love Atlanta. I like coming out there.
Now what was the address for your Instagram? Did you just go under your name, or how?
Just my name. Just go to my name, it's all just Jeffrey Suttles. I don't have any distinctive handles or anything like that. It's just my name.
Okay.
It's either Jeffrey Suttles or Jeffery B Suttles. Either one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
That's how they can get this one.
Yeah, Vaughn, you know what to do.
Yeah, it's the web page is jazzbeatsradio.com. You can get the full listing of all the shows that's on there, who we're highlighting. My show is called Soulscapes, and I play everything for the past 60 plus years when it comes down to jazz. I've got the best mix. I play Freddie Hubbard and then play some, right behind him, I play another trumpet player that I know by the name of Willie Bradley. I mean, some of these cats, they're new to the scene, but jazz is jazz, And so, it's just, and I just tell them, it says there's a bridge that needs to be connected again. I don't care. And I'm like this. I don't have a problem with smooth jazz. I just don't like the way radio has done it all. They've kind of like, how do you remove the classics from the present? You just don't do it. But they've cherry picked this stuff going on right now. It's just gotten ridiculous. It's disrespectful. It really is, And so let me get back off of my stomp box here and go back to where you can find me. Instagram. You can go.
Well, you always go to
Instagram.
Good points.
All right.
Instagram is Von Coulter. Just type in Von Coulter, like yourself. It's just my name, and then you'll find my Instagram page. And then I have a YouTube page called Soulscapes on Jazz Beats Radio, and so you can go there and see all of my favorites in my playlist. All of these shows that we tape here for the podcast are on there. For Yes Jazz Matters, I have some other little things I do within the studio, a little talk and conversation about the music. And so, the platforms are great. But to me, the platforms only gives me an additional bounce to be able to educate folks about this original art form. And so, you can find me at these places. That's where I'm at.
All right. And of course, you can always get me at yesjazzmatters.org, and make sure you subscribe to us and go to the donate page. We are 501c3, so go to the donate page and donate to Jazz Matters. We also have a Jazz Matters store there. Go and do some shopping. We're also looking into some virtual concerts that we are working with right now. So we'll post all of that stuff on the website. So
cool.
Yesjazzmatters.org. You can get us and get to know anything that we need to know. We're gonna have not only the contemporary jazz, but we'll have all forms. Anything related to jazz is what we'll be using. Also, we're gonna have. I think when things lighten up a little bit, we're gonna do an outdoor concert, which is going to be limited simply because of the pandemic situation. But we'll have that posted on the website also. So, Jeff, until next time.
Yes, sir.
Jeffery B is the man. So,
Jeffrey B.
so
Yeah,
we have to get out there, Vaughn. We have to do the LA thing. We're going to make sure we wear the heck out of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one other thing I want to add, one other thing I need to ask you, Jeffrey, while I got you here, and I'll just end it right here. So I was just going to your Facebook page, and I noticed that you know a gentleman by the name of Donnie McCullough.
Don McCullum?
Yeah, do you know Don McCullough? He's on your Facebook page, by the way, because the reason why I want to throw his name out there is that I met him years ago when I was living in LA, and he's currently writing a musical. It's called Boy, and it means it's a synonym for what Jesus, it's a gospel musical that he's doing right now. He's in production of it, and he went to Washington High School too. Donnie McCullough, that's his name, Donnie Ray McCullough. That name sound familiar?
It does. I'm writing it down. Excuse
me. He actually he's been a recording artist for like I don't know how many years he was recording in L.A. And I remember he had a single out called what was the name of that song? Lovely Lady, I think it was. It was he got a lot of airplay on KJLH back in the mid '70s. And he went to high school with I have a cousin that lives in Maryland right now, and he went to Washington High School. He
do you know what year did Donald is his name?
I think it was like 74. Donnie, or it could be Donald or Don McCullough. That's what it could be Donald McCullough. It could be Donnie McCullough.
Okay, 74.
Yeah, and I think he graduated in 74 with my cousin. And my cousin ended up going to college at UC San Diego, and his frat brother is one of the hottest bassists right now in the music industry. My memory is. This happens every time I'm on this show.
I know how it is. I do know how it is.
I have a terrible memory. It'll come. Look, it's going to hit me after we close this thing out. But I'm going to get back with you, and because I've already asked for you to add me on your Facebook page, and I'm following you now on Twitter. So we can stay in touch. We can stay in touch.
Okay, yeah, please do. And just want to say one more thing, that there's a lot of sexual chocolate bands that have been developed in those 30 years that I did the one that we did a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I have a page. It's called Original Sexual Chocolate Band. Okay. So.
Yeah, that's right.
Excuse me, my phone rang. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I have a page that's the Original Sexual Chocolate Band, and those are the original guys that are in the band. There's a lot of sexual chocolates out there. I don't know who they are, what they're doing.
Right.
But if they want to get the original guys, that's where they can find the original guys. Right. Those other guys are just doing what they do, making their money. That's fine. Yeah. So, and
okay.
Just wanted to say.
Yeah. You put it out there.
I'm putting it out there.
There you go.
I know, because we don't want a lot of like Temptations 2, Temptations 3, and
Temptations number 7. Otis, I think Otis the last one left. I think his
Otis is the last one.
He's the last original one left.
Yeah, he's the last one.
Yes, he is. Last one.
All right, then. Well, okay, we'll end it right there.
Okay.
And Jeff, man, I'm glad you were able to do it. I know you're busy, so go ahead. The next time we see each other, we'll work up some of those things to talk about.
We'll work it out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was, Vaughn, it was a pleasure to meet you, brother.
Oh, absolutely, man. Homeboy. That's it. We're homies.
Right.
Okay, man. All right.
And Edwin, I'll see you soon, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for the opportunity, and appreciate you. And I can't wait to see you.
Yeah, man. Stay safe over there.
We'll do.
All right. Peace, man. We out.
Okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
See you.